The beauty of running communities, we can connect easily with runners all over the world.
Bulk of the runners who love the sport so much and want to do runs across the world, money is always a challenge. Finding time is always a challenge. You've managed to do all of this. We want to learn how you do that.
So this is not just about running, it's also a way of exploring the places.
Tell us about money. How does one manage?
Couchsurfing is where you can get to stay for free. There was a funny incident in Spain. So this guy offered me to stay at his place, and there is a strict rule in his house. You have to be nude.
Really?
Yeah, I was not aware. It's a big thing in Spain or in Europe.
Dude, tell us, your choice of destinations is very interesting.
So the reason I choose these countries are, first,
Tell us about the undercover party scene in Iran.
every Iranian lives a two life. So the one, they have a typical religious where they have to cover and go to office, do the thing, and once they come back, they goes to a party mode because they value the freedom so much. Though it's restricted by the regime, they will never give up.
And what are the challenges of running in Dubai, especially barefoot?
The biggest challenge is weather because it's in the desert. Dubai, the weather is like beyond 40 anytime.
Tell me about barefoot running.
The natural form of running.
Somebody wanting to run barefoot for the first time, give them a training plan. What should the first 4 weeks look like?
The first 4 weeks is to understand your body. So
Teach us, make this a master class on how to become a traveling runner.
So like I said, there are ways
Welcome back to the Find Your Ultra podcast. I have with me, this is a new setup first of all. So looking forward to a conversation with a pal who's returning for his second stint on the Find Your Ultra podcast. He's done one episode and that was an audio. The podcast was audio at the time. I have with me Aakash Nambiar, who's a dear friend of mine. He's an ultra distance runner and he's a barefoot runner. He's famous by the Instagram handle Barefoot Mallu because he's a Mallu. And he runs across the world. We met in, I think, 2017-18, and he was a runner back then. He's now a lot more. He's a traveler more or a runner more. I don't know. But the way he's exploring the world is quite fascinating. So we've had one chat with him where we've heard some of his travel stories. And today we are going to try and cover many more that he's done. Like he's done so many. I don't think we can cover all of them, but let's try and do as many as we can. The experiences are fascinating. His choice of destinations is fascinating. The way he keeps fit while traveling is fascinating. So many fascinating things. I think we should just dive right in. If you want to know how to travel the world, being in a regular job, and explore places in a very new way on foot, you've got to listen to this episode. So tune in. And so without further ado, here's Aakash Nambiar and me in the Find Your Ultra podcast. Episode number, I'm not sure, but let's indulge away.
Thank you, Vipin. It's been like 3 years now. This is the third year of Find Your Ultra.
Podcast, yes.
And huge congratulations to you, first
Thank
of all,
you, brother.
because I know how you started and, third year and going to hit the
100%.
grand milestone of 100. It's been quite a journey. And I've been watching it, and big congratulations to you on this. And I'm sure that you'll make it bigger on the 100.
For sure.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Thank you for your kind words, brother. Your journey is just I would not even call it transformation. It's transcended to another dimension, it feels like. Because we're all runners and we enjoy doing long distances and we enjoy running city to city. But the way you've done this, and I'm pretty sure even you didn't know that this is how life was going to unfold when you started traveling. So when you told me that you were going to move to Dubai and work there maybe and then do some runs there, I had a picture in my mind, like what you're going to do. And you did that. I think Dubai to Abu Dhabi is where it started, right? And after that, you've just been traveling so much. And we don't come from backgrounds where we have tons of money lying around. And it's always a challenge for bulk of the runners who love the sport so much and want to do runs across the world. Money is always a challenge. Finding time is always a challenge. With all those challenges being there, you've managed to do all of this. We want to learn how you do that.
Yes, you asked a lot of questions in this, but so there is a way for everything, which I found out. It took some time, but it's the 5th year of my kind of a nomad journey, which I started in 2020. Thanks to the pandemic, it has brought a lot of challenges and changes to a lot of people's life, good and bad way. For me, it was totally U-turn to the life before. Actually, if you see 2020 and pre-2020, there's a huge change in my life. And one way I should be thankful to the pandemic. So it opened a new way of living and life for me. So whatever you have asked, we'll take them one by one and answer. But yeah, I've realized there is a way for everything. Like you can find a way to get things done.
Wonderful. I totally agree. I was talking to a friend yesterday itself, and he was also mentioning how the pandemic was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
As terrible as it was around the world, but it changed the world in so many ways, and showed us things that we didn't think were possible.
Exactly.
Like work from home actually has changed
Yeah.
a lot. So let's dive right in then. Tell us about when you moved to Dubai. First of all, how's life like in Dubai, and from running point of view as well.
Yeah, so Dubai, like it's a very modern city. Very modern as in it's the future city. Like whatever I've seen, at least the countries I've been, the first world and the third world countries wherever I've been, Dubai is way ahead in a lot of things. And especially after living for close to 4 years as a digital nomad, where I was either in the mountains or next to the beach, living in the forest with tribal people, moving to Dubai was a big step. A city which is full of skyscrapers, the fantastic cars, the glamour and the glitz. Yes, Dubai, there is a Dubai Blink. There is a Netflix series also. No, it's all glamour, and I was not sure. But obviously, the first thing was money. Money because, you need money, do whatever you want. So, to fuel your passion, you need something. And so that was the main motive to move there. And obviously, it's a tax-free country, city and country, yeah. So Dubai is a city in United Arab Emirates. So it was quite a challenge after living 4 years as a digital nomad and then adjusting to the fast-paced life. But like I said, you will find your way. So the best thing was the people whom I met. You make your own community or you join a community. So you meet like-minded people, and then life was better because first 2-3 months it was really challenging
You
for
had
me.
friends there?
I have lots of friends
No,
there.
when you moved there.
Yeah, when I moved there, I have lots of friends because, as you know, I'm from Kerala, and Dubai is also called mini Kerala because a lot of people from Kerala have migrated there who have been working there from so many years. There is a saying that at least one person from every family will be in Dubai. From Kerala will be in Dubai. Will be working in the Middle East, especially in Dubai. So a lot of my schoolmates, my classmates in engineering, and a lot of my relatives were there. So it was not an unknown city for me, and not a big challenge in terms of moving, like especially when you're moving, you're completely transplanting yourself from India to Dubai. So it was not a big thing for me that time because I had enough support in terms of that. But the challenge was in adjusting to my lifestyle, the kind of lifestyle which I was having last 4 years, and then to adjust to Dubai lifestyle, which is a very futuristic city and the very fast-paced life. And Dubai also had its own glamour life. So first 2-3 months, I did enjoy that, and I've realized if I had to live that life, maybe I know I'll not survive long, not in terms of health or in terms of financial, because it's a very expensive city also.
Yeah.
So all these things I've realized, so I need to get back on track. So it took a while, like 3 months. I lived the typical Dubai life where you work,
What's a typical Dubai life?
typical Dubai life where you spend a lot of time in traffic, like what you see.
Really? The
Yeah,
traffic
the
itself?
traffic. Yeah, because
I mean, I've not been to Dubai.
it's a well planned city. But again, it's
We only see fast cars.
yeah, the fast cars, which create a lot of traffic too. So there is a peak time, like from 8 to 10, you will be moving at a very snail pace. Because the road, it's a small city and it's a completely car friendly city. Like it's not a pedestrian friendly city. So almost everyone owns a car. So
Not
imagine.
pedestrian friendly because of the weather.
No. The city or the country has very strict rules when it comes to pedestrians. You cannot walk on the highways. You have dedicated lanes. That's the reason they have dedicated running tracks. So you cannot run randomly on any. I mean, there are places around your neighborhood you can, but not like how we do in India or any other place. So it's not at all a walkable city. They have plans to make it, a walkable like Europe. Like Europe is, you can walk for hours. So you cannot do that. So coming back to the typical Dubai life, it's a very fast paced life where your life starts by 6 or 7, where you wake up, you rush to, get ready. And then if you have to avoid traffic, you need to start early, which means you'll be spending more hours. Like, if you have like 8 hours of work, then you start early means you reach the office early, but you can only leave the office by 5 or 6. So overall 10, 12 hours you spend on the road and in office. And then once you're
What
back,
about public transport? How good is that?
public transport is really good, but nobody uses it. Like probably, I mean, not obviously people uses it. A lot of people use it, but it's also like a lot of people have their own cars. Like people own multiple cars, but most of them they drive and go to their workplace. Whoever is working, like there's metro, which is also really good. Buses are also there, but people still prefer, those who have car. And the traffic is really crazy. That's one reason, FM is really popular because people are on the road for 1 or 2 hours. And there are two other Emirates, Abu Dhabi and Sharjah, which is relatively affordable compared to Dubai. So people stay there and the workplace is in Dubai. So there is a transportation. The distance is around 45 to 50 kilometers, which can be covered in 30 minutes. But during the peak hours, it takes time because everyone, who stays in Sharjah or Abu Dhabi, they come to Dubai. So that creates a lot of congestion. So you are forced to spend a long time in the traffic, and then you have 8 or 9 hours of work. Once you come back, you're tired. You feel like taking a nap, which will be like, say example, you reach on by 7, you think of taking 15 minutes nap, but it will go for like 3 hours. So you'll wake up at around 10. This is mostly, what I've seen. So 8 or 9, you wake up and then you are awake. And then, the cycle is like you sleep by 1 or 2. You have to wake up early so that you want to avoid the traffic. So again, you sleep by 2, you wake up by 7 or 6. You are hardly getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep. And so it's a cycle. And then you have 2 days, the weekend, like, the Saturday and Sunday, where you need to let yourself a bit, from those hectic 5 days. So most of the people, they party. It's a very good place to party, especially what I've noticed with Indians. They have this habit of eating out. So, Friday, late night, they party and eat out. Not just Indians, but what I've noticed in Indian community here. So, yeah, so the 2 days just gets over like, in a blink. So Saturday you will be sleeping, or after you party on Saturday, Sunday you sleep and you wake up in the evening, and then the day is over. So that is a typical Dubai life. Very fast life. And
you said it's a small city.
Yeah.
If you were to run from one end of Dubai to the other,
one end to, so it might be 30-40 kilometers. So it's this. Yeah.
So ultra.
Not even an ultra. Yeah. So if you have to take the whole circumference, maybe you can make a 45 kilometer, but otherwise all the places are like 20 to 35 kilometers, but you can reach if it is not during the peak traffic hours. So you can reach in 15-20 minutes. Yeah.
Right. So typical Dubai life, you enjoyed for 3 months, and you didn't run during that time?
During those 3 runs, so actually when I first moved there, my plan was to do a run. So the first week, it was, I don't know if you remember, there is CO2 summit, like COP. It's a summit which happens every year in different countries to talk about climate challenge awareness and all this stuff. So that year, the particular year when I moved, it was in 2023 December. It was happening in Dubai. So 2023 COP was happening in Dubai, and I wanted to, because that's a big platform to talk and address this issue. And I was searching for where to run. And what happened was, the main challenge was, COP is a big event. It's a global event where all the leaders, like Prime Minister Modi was there, like all the world leaders were there. So the police denied permission to run in the city during COP. Like it was a 10-day event. So those 10 days I cannot, I didn't get the permission to run. So after that I ran 105 kilometer. I started from the desert, and then I wanted to cover all the iconic places in Dubai, like Hotel Atlantis, Kite Beach, there is Etihad Museum, and the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. So I started from Love Lake, Al Qudra. The lake is in the shape of the heart, and it's in the desert. And from there, I went to the city and finished in front of the Burj Khalifa. It was a 105 kilometer run. I took around 16 hours. So this I took as a platform to address this climate awareness, because I've been doing this from last few years. So my plan was to do this in Dubai and talk about this. So that is how I, kicked off my Dubai life. So I started with the run, and as usual, after I do, you also might have done that. Once you are done with the run, you let yourself a bit, relax. You can, chill a bit, like for 2-3 weeks. So that 2-3 weeks went on for 3 months, because it was during December, the holiday season, the New Year Eve, the party. And then, it went on. Like January is also the best time to be in Dubai. The weather is so good. A lot of parties, a lot of concerts were happening. February, March, so.
And what are the challenges of running in Dubai?
The challenge, weather.
Especially barefoot?
The biggest challenge is weather, because it's in the desert, and the weather, like we have like close to 5 to 6 months of extreme heat. Like 4 months is like for where it touches around 45 to 50. So which is very brutal. Like 50 we cannot even imagine. Like I'm from the coastal, I'm from a tropical place in India, Kerala, which is also humid and hot, but I have never experienced beyond 35 or 37 during my stay in Kerala. So I thought, that is the extreme. But yeah, Dubai, the weather is like beyond 40 anytime. And even during winters also, sometimes the days are hot, like 35, 40. It can, you can feel more. So that's the biggest challenge. And then obviously, like I said, it's not a pedestrian friendly city. So running the kind of runs which I do, the intercity runs are not possible. You have running tracks, like you have a beautiful running track by the beach. Like, you have 15 kilometers or 20 kilometers of running track, which where you can do. So other than these dedicated running tracks, else it's a big challenge to run. So weather and running within the city was a bit challenging.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just tempted to even go back a little bit before you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
Your nomad traveling had started before that.
Yes, like I said, 2020. You all remember how we were. The COVID announced and the pandemic started. Like we were not sure how the life will be. Right, we never expected that, or I think our generation never faced such things. Right, the pandemic before COVID was in 60s or even before that. So
most of us, it was a once in a lifetime
yeah,
event.
yeah. So like everyone, I was also uncertain, what to do, and we had a lot of time to do. Work was less, and the work from home, which we never thought will be given to us. So I remember there was a tagline for COVID, like "Stay at home and save life." So that's the time I stepped out and I started bored. We have time, and I wanted to do something, and I first moved to Goa. So I lived in Goa, and then you remember Meghalaya happened. I stayed back after
What,
the
Meghalaya? Our last long run.
our last long run.
Guwahati to Cherrapunji.
Guwahati to Cherrapunji, and I stayed back for one more week, and then Guwahati, and then so slowly I started exploring. I mean, otherwise it was just we used to travel, but it was hardly for 4 or 5 days, and we had to rush things. The typical tourist life, and most of the travel before was for runs. Like you take part in marathons happening in different cities. You do the run, and then you have 1 or 2 days. You see something, and then you come back, and then your typical life, the work life. So here, in this case, you have a lot of time, and things were very slow. Like and you were never in rush, and this work from home introduced. You can just take your laptop and you can work from anywhere. And internet was pretty good by then in India. So Geo, thanks to Geo. So yeah, from Meghalaya, I moved to Himachal. I stayed there for long, and then Manali, and I was also taking up running, like the intercity runs, which Milind and we all started how we've been doing that. But my challenge was to do it alone.
So I mean, just to give the audience a little bit of context, those who don't know about this, Last Long Run is a concept started by Milind Soman, and we've been doing that for like good 8-10 years now. We run city to city, and it's a small bunch of people, 10 to 20 people, and
much lesser, no? Less than 10.
Less than 10. Yeah, so much fun. But then you were saying you had to like transition to doing them alone by yourself.
Yes. So the reason was like, like you said, it's been 10 years we've been doing that, and we knew each other, right? We formed a good bonding between us, and it was a fun run. Like it's a multi-state, like 2 days run with a lot of fun, but also, you run. So for me, I wanted to explore how it will be if you're running alone. Like here, even if we are like 5 or 6, like at least 1 or 2 of us are running together. Yeah. Like we run a lot of distance together.
Yes.
So how it will be if you're running alone throughout, without anyone to talk, or sometimes you need some motivation. Like whenever you're running in a marathon, you have a lot of people. So this was the thing, like how if I can do it, or how long you can push yourself. So that is when I did the Abu Dhabi to Dubai, which was the longest. That time I did 24 hours, 120 barefoot in 2020. So then I got hooked into it. So then I wanted to do more. So now I knew, how to do it, or, what are the challenges. Because the first run when I did, because everything you need to do by yourself. You need to find the logistics. You need some places you need to find the permission. You need to get the permission from the police.
Yeah.
Sometimes from the traffic police and the police, and also the route, the nutrition, everything you need to, finalize, stay. So that is from the first time, and now I'm in the 5th year of doing it. A huge learning, and learned a lot of things. So yeah, so that is how I started, like doing a solo. And I wanted to, like, we do in multiple days, like 1 or 2 days. But 2 days we take, right? We take rest. I want to do in a stretch. Like, one day I do it, and then next day I can celebrate it and I can do my, normal thing. So I don't extend it beyond 24 hours. So the longest, maybe 120, 130 was the longest I was thinking to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is how I started. And then I wanted to do in, like, I think we spoke about this in our previous podcast about, when I was approached by a NGO in Afghanistan to raise funds for the women athletes. And I couldn't go to Afghanistan, but then I was living in Manali, which is, almost at the same altitude as the place in Afghanistan where I planned to do a run. And yeah, I did the run. I ran from Manali to Rohtang, and I raised the fund. So it was really helpful because, that's the time when Afghanistan was going through a very bad phase. Taliban took over, and especially women were in a, very bad situation. The athletes has to be airlifted, and they have to be rescued and, moved to different countries in Europe. So the fundraiser was successful. I could raise the fund. And then, this became my thing. So this is not just about running. It's also a way of exploring the places. Like, then I realized, it's one of the best way to explore a place. Like, sometimes when you travel, you might not notice the minute things which is on the road. So here you get to experience it. Like I always say, especially in India, a country like India where every 5 kilometers everything changes. The people, the food, even particular smell, and you notice everything.
Yeah.
Because you are by yourself, you notice everything. So then I got very much into this, and then I started looking for places to run. Like, and also my nomad life started. Like, I was doing a long, slow travel, like our LSD runs, like, long, slow travel where I stay in one particular place for months. So at minimum of a month or more than that. Like, I've stayed in Manali for 6-7 months. And then you remember we did the run in Rajasthan where I stayed back. You all went from Jaisalmer. I was in Jodhpur, Udaipur. I had a long stay in Ajmer, Pushkar. So I started looking for places and also plan a run. So after this, I went to Nagaland. I ran from Dimapur to Kohima. It's a 70-kilometer run. And then I ran again in Himachal from where I stopped in Rohtang. I started from Rohtang to another city called Lahore, which was around 65 kilometers in the mountain. And then Arunachal, and then Kashmir. Gurez, that's with the Indian Army. I did a lot of runs with the Indian Army. But those were small community runs, short distances to get the people to take up fitness. And also it was a way for the Indian Army to interact with the locals, to build some relationship. But I also ran Srinagar to Gulmarg, a 50-kilometer run, 50 or 60, I don't remember. Yeah. So, and then, once you are so familiar with India and you wanted to make it bigger, right? And by then we had ran some international runs with LLR.
Yeah.
But this is like, I had to plan everything from visa to travel to permission and everything. So I started looking for international runs where I can plan. So I was in Spain. I ran in Spain, and then followed by I ran in Portugal, and then Dubai run happened. And then since then I've been running in Dubai. Like this year on 14th of February, which is Valentine's Day, I got associated with an NGO called Asrak. It's a Dubai-based NGO. They are into ocean conservation. Like, Dubai is surrounded by the sea, and there needs to be a lot of education about the conservation, about the coral reefs. So they are doing a lot of work on that. And we wanted to club two things, health and as well as environment. Like, just like how you love yourself, like Valentine's Day, the theme is about love. So we wanted to talk about love your environment also. So that is how we, save oceans and as well as love your health. And the 14th, I ran from the border of Oman to Dubai again. It was the city. It was 115 kilometer. So that was the last run which I did.
Yeah. So let's double click on some of these. But before that, talk us through the planning phase. So the reason I think this podcast is really relevant to a lot of runners today is that when we take up amateur, like when we all become amateur distance runners, we want to do more of it. We want to explore the world and we want to do these runs. So one way is to sign up for races that are happening across the world. That's one way. The other way is to plan all of these by yourself and do them. And which is, very time extensive and also very challenging in many different ways, and also finance intensive, right? So teach us, like, make this a master class on how to become a traveling runner. So starting from when you decide your next run, how do you decide that? So maybe you can take a case of one of the runs that you planned. How did that idea come? And then once an idea comes, what are the steps that you follow?
Yeah. Also, the reason, just to continue from where we were talking about, like 2020, the pandemic happened, the races stopped. You remember there were no races for 3 years, right? And before that, I was taking part in all the races. There were months where all 4 weekends I ran a full marathon. Like 4 week, Pondicherry, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. I mean, we were obsessed about the timing and the races. So there was that time. And then pandemic happened. There's no races. So that is how, this thing also, to plan your own races. You remember there were a lot of things, like there were 100 days of races, runs. So for me, it was to plan my own run. And 3 years, there were no races happening anywhere in the world. And you cannot also travel much, right? You were restricted to travel. So, like I said, there are ways, which run I should talk about. Like, for example, the run in Portugal. It was from Lisbon to Peniche, which is like 85-kilometer run. So every run was a learning, like starting from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, which I did, where I did a lot of mistakes in planning, in nutrition and all those things. So I could know next time what I should do. So in this case, I was reaching out to people in Portugal. There are a lot of pages on Facebook. And especially what the beauty of running communities, we can connect easily with runners all over the world, right? So there are pages dedicated for running. There are pages dedicated for each country, each city. So
name some, like for.
So there are Lisbon runners, for example, or travelers in Portugal. So you just have to post about your requirement that you are planning to run and what is the requirement. So you need a car, you need a crew car, like because you're running from one city to another and you need a car with food and water. It's point A to B and they have to get you back to the place where you're staying, which is at the start point. Either if you are not staying at the end point. So you need a car and especially car is very expensive. How expensive to hire a car for full day, the entire day, and especially in Europe, it's very expensive. So best thing is you get connected with Indians. First thing is to get connected with Indian because we are, you can connect, you can play the national card. So get connected with them and you outside India, we are all Indians, right? Like here you'll see South, East, West. You have also all sorts of differences, but outside, that is when you feel more of India when you go out, right? So there will be people who had never been to India in last 4-5 years and they feel so good to meet an Indian. Maybe 100 people or 10 people will respond, and out of that, somebody will give you a lead. If not, if maybe somebody will offer you, they can help you, or somebody will tell you,
Like, I'll come with my car.
Yeah, that case is much easier because so like that in Portugal, I posted, and then a family who has been living in Portugal for I think 20-30 years, an Indian family, they agreed, right? And she was also part of these Indian communities. So she actually gave her driver, and then she also connected with the Indian embassy. And then Indian embassy got into the picture. It was much easier. They connected all the medias in Portugal, which is a big exposure. Like, the national media in Portugal covering the run, which is a very big exposure. And we got a good mileage. So, and some brands also got into it. So this is the way you can plan. One is to use these groups on Facebook. I know Facebook is a bit outdated now. We say Gen Z is more into Instagram and what is that, like TikTok or the latest apps and other things where people can interact. But Facebook is still useful for these sort of things. But another thing is, I don't know if you have used Reddit.
I don't, but I know a lot of people do.
So I've been using it for 3-4 years now. It's like a totally different world. You have a solution for everything. Now also things have changed. Like, how earlier we used to depend on Google for everything. Like you search. Now you have ChatGPT. Like you can ask anything. Yeah. And Reddit is one of the best. So it's similar to Facebook, Reddit also have an active community for everything. You name any passion, you name anything, you have a community for that. And there are people who will give you feedback right away and you can get into their DMs. I have a chat with them and get more information. People are ready to help. I depend a lot on Reddit. And then there are a lot of apps like Couchsurfing for travel. And then, you have hostels to stay because also travel, not everyone can afford, like you said, a lot of people have dreamed to run a race abroad and the registration fee itself is huge. And then to manage the travel and then finding an accommodation, which can also go higher. But if you just want a very minimal, I'm just giving a minimal, but sometimes it can be much greater experience also. I had an amazing experience, like royal experience also, without spending much. So Couchsurfing is an app. I don't know if you are aware or you used it ever.
Not used it, but I'm aware.
I'm a very extensive user now of Couchsurfing now. It's also Couchsurfing also slowed down, like because it's a very old app. Like it started in 2004. when at that time it was just a browser, a community, and now they have developed an app and like last 2 3 years. So it's been there. Like the travelers have been using it from last 15 20 years. So couchsurfing is very important. It's still relevant. There are two other apps also which are similar to couchsurfing, but couchsurfing is the most popular. And these are the places where you can meet people who will be offering their places. Like, for example, you have this house, you can offer the couch. Basically, you're offering the couch to a traveler from a different country or a different city, and the person can stay, and there is no payment involved. You don't have to pay. The strict rule is nobody can charge. Neither you can charge or the guest can offer. So the host cannot charge you or the guest cannot offer you money.
Why do people do it then?
So people, because it's more like a cultural exchange. So somebody from, say, for example, you have your you're using couchsurfing and want to host people in Dwarka here, and somebody traveling from Japan. So he's traveling there, and you offer to host him, and he's staying with you for 1 or 2 days. You can, I mean, he can talk a lot about Japan, which you might not know, or if you have never been to Japan, it will be much more for you to learn about Japan. It can be about anything. It can be about his work, like he's into anything, like if he's a software developer or he's a teacher or anything. It can be a language, basics of the language to, his experience, past experiences, or he can teach you to cook a Japanese dish. You can also talk a lot about India. You can talk about what is good to see here because, travel also, people, there are places which are overhyped, you feel, because, they have advertised so well. But you, as being a, Delhi guy, you know much better. There are places where, travelers might not be aware. There are places, the hole in the wall kind of a place, which will be much better in terms of food and quality and experience. So it's more like a cultural experience, and you also, to live the life of a local with them instead of staying in a hotel where you are, in the four walls and you don't know what's happening outside. You might have the
So
luxury.
it's exchange. You
Yes, yes,
share
like
stories,
you live the life.
But is it an expectation that if you're couch surfing that you're like, let's say you've come to Delhi, is it an expectation that this guy is going to come home after exploring Delhi and he's going to talk to me? And is that like an expectation? Or can you like just walk into your room and sleep if you want?
So it depends. So the best thing is you have time to chat. Like it's not like, somebody randomly comes to your house. So you can post that you're traveling on this particular date, and you can the host can respond, okay, I have a space, you can come to me. And then they exchange the numbers if you want. I mean, otherwise you can still chat on Couchsurfing. Ask them their requirement, what they want to do in Delhi, what kind of travel and what are they expecting. And you can also tell about yourself. You can tell that you want privacy, and in some places there you have a work where you need to leave, and you don't want the guest to be in your house when you're
Then you put the requirement.
yeah, so yeah,
between these hours.
yeah, I think communication is the key. You communicate it properly. And for me, I had the best experience so far. Never had a bad experience, and I've made friends for life through Couchsurfing, which never expected. And it's like a profile. So every person will have reviews given by the other travelers who stayed with him. So you need to go through, yeah. So you need to go through it.
You
Yeah,
rate the driver rates.
yeah. You have the common sense to go through the reviews and decide, if he's a good or a bad host or a guest. So if it will be for both, for the host as well as for the guest. There will be reviews given by the other people. So because there was a funny incident in Spain, especially in Europe, is very popular. So the guy offered me to stay at his place, and cities in Europe are very expensive. Even the hostels are very expensive. So you just don't go with saving money. Obviously, you can save money, but it's more of a cultural exchange. You are also contributing, not in terms of financial, but in terms of culturally. You are representing your country in this way, right? So this guy offered me to stay at his place, and there was one condition that he said he's a nudist. And nudist means, yeah. So there is a strict rule in his house. You have to be nude.
Really?
Yeah, I was not aware. It's a big thing in Spain or in Europe. Yeah, like I don't know what they call nudism, or you cannot blame them. They believe that you have to be free from, and there is nothing sexual in this. It's just their way, of thinking, or minimalistic, or much more, extended version of minimalism or something. Yeah, so naturalist. They are called naturalists. So yeah, actually, he said I'm a naturalist. So I thought naturalist is something
somebody
to
who
nature.
takes you out for forest walks.
Exactly, yeah. So I said yes. I said I also love nature, and I would love to, explore a lot. So this guy, and best thing was he offered for 18 days. 18 days you get to stay without spending much. It's like a lottery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to chat, and then when I reached at his place and he showed me the room, it was a private room. And then I went to my room and I'm seeing him naked. I got scared. What? Suddenly this guy is coming out naked. I thought maybe it's normal to Europeans, or maybe some people they are happy in their skin.
Yeah, because that you see that in locker rooms all the time.
Yeah. So I thought maybe he's confident of himself, very confident in his skin, and that's why. And he was looking at me, and I was a bit shy or embarrassed to look at him. His face was kind of a questioning. Then he said, this is a naturalist house. You have read the rules. I said, yeah. So the rule is you have to be nude. Like you are a guest or a host.
Wow.
Both of them has to be nude. And then I said, I'm not comfortable. But he was kind enough to educate me. And he said, okay, today you can be in your shorts or whatever you're comfortable with.
Right.
But so then I said, okay, I'll try to find a different host. And yeah, so the 18-day stay became a 1-day stand, not one night stand. Yeah. So so you need to be careful. You need to, communication is the main thing, and you need to say things clearly. What are your expectation and what is the host expectation, so that you are on the same page. Yeah.
Superb.
But it's a very nice app to, to explore a city. There is also an option to meet up. So even if you're not staying, so now I use a lot to meet up. Like especially in Iran, it's very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't see a lot of tourists. Like how the media has portrayed Iran in a very bad way. So people think it's a very dangerous country. And
is it not? Tell me about Iran experience.
It is not at all a dangerous country. It's one of the safest country I've ever been. I even felt safer than Europe. Much cleaner, much beautiful, amazing country culturally and landscape wise. They have everything. People think it's just a desert. They have snow mountains, they have desert, they have ocean, they have forest, you name it, they have it. And people are very friendly, and especially they love India.
Let's just finish the thread of somebody wanting to travel by themselves. So
yeah.
So you mentioned these apps. That's how you go about planning these and be careful about these things. Just to wrap the thing, same point.
Yeah.
Tell us about money. How does one manage? So one is, of course, explore Couchsurfing and stuff, and you save that way.
Yes.
So that's
Couchsurfing is where you can get to stay for free. Free is I don't know if it's it gives a negative impact.
It's a very positive.
Yeah, free. But yeah, I mean, people think when it comes to free, there are other things attached. Free. So maybe it's a good way to have a.
And you do need to have a job that allows you to work remotely. How have you managed it? Or do you work for some time and then take a sabbatical or leave, or how do you do that?
So since 2020, I was, thanks to pandemic, 3.5 years, I was working from home. My job allowed me to travel. I mean, allowed me to work from home, which I used as an opportunity to travel and work
remotely.
Yeah. And then luckily the good job I got in Dubai was also not where I was not required to be in Dubai office, like not throughout. So it helped me to travel. I mean, I just had to take the laptop and, just have to get the work done. It doesn't matter where I am. But otherwise, even if you are planning a short stay, you can still use, these tricks. So, but yeah, I mean, if you have a remote job, this is much better. You can use Couchsurfing to find a host, and also it's the best way to know a country from a local perspective, right? They've been living there, they are local, they know much better than all these tourist travel agencies, because I never in my life travel with an agency or a travel company. Yeah. So then there are also a lot of voluntary work if you are interested in. Like, thanks to you, introduced Vaughan Town to me, and then I became an expert. I also introduced that to a lot of people, but then I found out much more. Not similar to Vaughan Town, there are much more institutes where you can teach the language, but not just the language. You can also teach a skill. And then there are a lot of other communities where you can volunteer. Like you can be in a hostel, you can get paid, or you won't get paid, but you will be paid as in you can get a free accommodation and the food.
Yeah.
Two basic things are covered. This is roti, kapda, or makan. So these things are covered, then it's much more lighter in your pocket, right? Yeah, so voluntary work is one thing, and there is World Packers. World Packers is a community of travelers who can volunteer and travel. So they let you work for 4 hours, and then 2 hours you can be, and this is all over the world. You name a country, you can go there and do this. Like if you want to go to Colombia, if you go, even in India, like in Himachal and some places there are, like some NGOs, they run homestays or hostels. They also need. And then there is WOOF. Some places require a minimum of 4 weeks, 4 weeks commitment. So if you want long stay where you can work and, you can do multiple things, like you can juggle around, these are the best things where you save a lot. network with locals, you get the best tips to explore the places, and overall an amazing experience. Like Vaughan Town was one of the best experience in my life, which ever experienced. And then since then, I've attended a long, like for I think 5-6 programs in Spain itself and in different countries. So these are the ways you can smart and much more effective. It might not be the offer you the kind of luxury like in a 5-star hotel, but it will give you as
But
a
I
from a
think,
traveler point of view.
yeah, travel
Yeah.
point of view pretty good. Like maybe those who haven't heard the previous episode and don't know about One Town, you can basically just apply and you have to teach.
Teach, yeah. But the best thing is One Town offers you a 4-star hotel.
Yeah,
Where
it's
you
a
have a
fantastic facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go there and you will basically be teaching English to Spaniards. This is in Spain, right?
Yeah.
Well, One Town is in other countries as well.
One Town is only in Spain.
Only in Spain.
Only in Spain.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you will be put in a big house, a big boss like house.
Yeah.
But,
It was literally like Big Boss. Like, all of
Yeah.
us staying together
there
for
are activities
7 days.
planned
Yeah.
and so much fun. And basically, these are corporate executives who know English,
Yes.
but their English needs brushing up.
They're a bit
and they're-
embarrassed to talk in public.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and they need people to practice it with. So they create environments where people open up and speak from the heart, and before you know, they forget they're speaking English, and they get much more fluent by the end of the program. So that, as an Indian, like I went on the program and I had a great experience. I did 2 One Towns back to back for a week. So you go there, they will help you with the visa application. You just take a flight, you land in Spain, and after that, you reach there. You have a fantastic accommodation, and your food is sponsored with them, and that includes red wine.
Exactly, yeah. The Spanish
white
red
wine as well,
yeah.
but
White
but,
and red,
but
yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
food and amazing.
And these are the places which otherwise you might not travel. Like,
great
people
house, yeah.
People
very far.
mostly travel to Madrid, Barcelona, the well-known cities. But these are like, you can, travel within the city, but amazing villages and towns which otherwise nobody knows, right? Yeah.
Fabulous, sir. Dude, tell us, like your choice of destinations is very interesting, and I believe you've also gotten in trouble with the visa authorities.
Yeah.
Iran, not Afghanistan. You didn't go there.
I have a visa, yeah. I had,
Eh, You have a visa. So the Iran, Afghanistan,
Lebanon.
Lebanon.
Yeah, so I was questioned the Indian immigration because of the countries where I visited. So the reason I choose these countries are first, I'm very fascinated about history, and Iran was one country which I wanted to visit since childhood, because of the legendary Persian Empire, Cyrus the Great. There was a movie, Children of Heaven, which was shown in our school. And yeah, that's a long story where I was fascinated about Iran, and I've been planning since long time, but I was not sure how to travel, like all these years, and I was not even sure whether I will be able to travel there. But things worked last year, and I went there. I spent good 20, 25, 28 days in Iran, and these are the countries which are always portrayed in a very negative way. Not safe to travel, lot of risk involved,
Very
and
conservative.
very conservative. But the thing is, we cannot completely believe what the media says, because media is always portraying someone else's interest, right? It's not like, you have to literally experience it, then you realize how good it is. Like, for example, Iran is a heavily criticized country for a lot of things. Obviously, the government, the regime is very strict on a lot of things, very religious and very strict, especially on women. But the women I met there are one of the most bold, strong, and very confident in themselves. Yeah, very liberal, very liberal. The interesting thing is it's an Islamic country, like a religious country regime. 60 to 70% of the people are non-religious. Can you believe that? 60 to 70% of people are non-religious, and the government is an elected one, and the polling is maybe 25 to 30%. So most of the people who don't believe in this, they don't, because they've been trying to raise their voice, but the results are not showing because it's manipulated. So they don't vote now, but they enjoy the life, and they're very happy to see tourists, travelers to their country, because not many travel to Iran, and they don't get a lot of chances to travel out of their country. It's very strict. The country doesn't allow people to travel out. So whenever they see
Country
travelers,
doesn't allow people to travel out.
they have strict rules when it comes to traveling out. Especially, you need to serve in the military, for army, for 2 years. Only then you can step out, like being a man. Yeah. So there are
Even if
people.
you want to go as a tourist to another country,
Yes,
you can't.
yes, you can't. And especially to countries like Europe and US, they'll not accept, or they'll not issue visa to people of Iran, because they look them in a different eye. So to get a visa to travel to other countries also very challenging for them, and their own government is also restricting them to travel. So that's a big challenge for them to travel out, and then not many people travel to Iran. But it's in an amazing country, very beautiful, one of the most beautiful country, and I rate the travel experience in Iran as the most beautiful experience I've ever had in a country. Spain is my favorite country for various reasons. I spent a long time there, and I think that is one of the most repeated country. But in terms of experience, Iran is the best in terms of people, in terms of the place, in terms of the cultural experience I had. It's one of the must visit, I would say, but then obviously you cannot travel. And unfortunately, they've banned solo travel. Like now you have to go through an agency to travel to Iran till last year. And India doesn't require a visa. Like you can just go, with just the passport. So these are the countries I select based on, history. And then whenever the media portrays, I would like to explore the other side. And I always had the positive experience in Iran, in Lebanon, even in Mongolia, for
I loved
example. Yeah.
watching your stories and posts about Iran.
Yeah.
Once you land there, of course, you make connections to like the process you shared.
Yeah.
But once you land there, because I saw so many stories with locals, you don't come across as a very extrovert person.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not at all an extrovert. And even now, I find it more challenging to talk to people whom I know. But the moment I'm out of the country and I'm with strangers, I get a different energy. And also, maybe I think it's also because of the kind of travel I've been doing now. Like I said, it's a very slow travel where I spend long time in one city or a country. And sometimes you don't even need the language. We consider language as a barrier, but sometimes it's more helpful. Like, humans can connect pretty easily. So yeah, like I said, I do a lot of research before going to a place, like, at least 2-3 months. I try to connect with people. I ask people on Instagram or, social media to know those who know somebody to connect me with their friends or something like that. That's the first step. And then, like I said, these apps. So I try to get a circle of people who can help me. And then it's much easier. Sometimes they come to pick you, or sometimes they give you the right guidance. You need help everywhere, right? These are unknown territories, and people are ready to help. You just have to ask. There is a saying: only the crying baby gets the milk. So just where you need to get out of your comfort zone and ask to people. Ask people what helps you need, and I think 99% of the people will help you. So the more connections you make, and then they'll just take you. Like especially in Iran, I was taken care by the people like a baby. Like, they're taking me to their house. They are offering me a grand feast every day. And at one point it became, too much for me because I was not exposed to such kind of hospitality, right? Somebody giving you space in their house, giving you a private room, and every hour they are coming offering you tea and snacks, and they are introducing you to their family, and then they're taking you to other places, helping you in the way that maybe even your dear ones might
This was
not.
also through
Couchsurfing, and then you get to connect with people. So it's like a chain of actions you do, right? You get connected with one person, and then he will, okay, you're going to next city, I have a friend. So that way, you get connected with a lot of people, and you build amazing, beautiful relation. That's also challenging because when you spend long time, like 30 days, the biggest challenge is to say goodbye to all of these people. Like you create, I mean, not just in terms of relation, like, sometimes when you spend long time, you have feelings for somebody, sometimes of the opposite gender. But even with the people, even with the other people also, you meet a person throughout who's helping you, you form a bond. You have to leave, and then you know that you might not come back. And this relation is now just a WhatsApp conversation. We all become busy in our life, and then the communication might get cut off. So that is also a big challenge when you have to detach. You get attached with people for a month or maybe 2-3 months. And then one fine day you have to say goodbye, and you might not even see them. Like a lot of people ask me, like, you are living a nomad life, and do you feel that alone or lonely because you don't belong to anywhere? Like you are from 1 month you are here, next month, and but I always say that I belong to everywhere. Sometimes instead of that, I belong to everywhere or everyone. But the challenge is to say goodbye. Have you asked to connect with people, to get support from the people, and the same way when you have to disconnect from the beautiful bond you had? That's one big challenge for the nomads or
Goodbyes
digital
are hard.
nomads. Yeah, goodbyes are super hard. Yeah.
We have to talk about your fitness through the travels. But before that, since we are talking about Iran, Tell us about the undercover party scene in Iran.
Crazy parties happens there. So Iran is culturally so rich and they are so good. Iranian movies are one of the best in the world. I will recommend you some of the movies, and I mean, you can just found there is Holy Spider, there is Separation, which are one of the Children of Heaven. And Iranian movies are good in content, good in quality, technically very good. Unfortunately, they are not able to release the movies in their own country, but it's popular worldwide. And whatever you think it's banned in the country happens underground. Their music scene is amazing. So every Iranian lives a two life. So the one they have a typical religious where they have to cover and go to office, do the thing, and once they come back, they goes to a party mode because they value the freedom so much. Though it's restricted by the regime, they will never give up. There have been a lot of protests over this, but still they don't give up. And when they're not allowed to do this, they do it underground. So they have crazy parties where I got introduced to a few people and they took me, like, I was staying in the capital city, Tehran, where we all went to another village, which is like 2-3 hours drive from Tehran. The women were all in burqa, uh, completely covered, hijab, and men were also modestly dressed. And we entered a farmhouse and it's beautifully decorated. Inside, you have all the alcohol served. The food is delicious. They have like and the women goes to change and they are out in their best attire, like how you see. I mean, the fashion sense is also amazing there. And you party till 6 or 7 in the morning, and then again they change and we all go back. So that was an amazing, but again a cultural shock I never expected. So that's what I realized. Whatever the media says, it's completely because unless you experience it, you don't know, right? Yeah, you can. It's easier to talk. It's easier to talk. Don't go, or this is bad. But when you experience it, only I think you should only talk when you experience it. Yeah. So yeah, we think Berlin is the party capital, or Vegas and all. Lebanon beats everything. Every city, they have crazy parties, and we know only we only read the bombings and things happening there, which are not the good things. But they also have a crazy party scene, amazing people, amazing hospitality. I feel the people who suffer the most are the one who offer the most. So yeah. So all these countries have amazing nightlife and everything.
Are
like
you
whatever.
in touch with these guys now that the wars are going on?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm in touch with everyone because that's one thing which I make sure, because I know like sometimes I might not be able to go to the country again. So I make sure and check about their well-being, and they also do that. So it's a beautiful connection, right? You make in a different country, and like I said, you are also representing India because they also have a lot of misconception about India. So you are representing India, and you try to portray your country in the best way. They also try to portray in the best way. So we are consistently in touch through all the social media and WhatsApp and everything. So we get regular updates on what's happening there.
Wonderful, sir. So traveling usually offers its own challenges in terms of sticking to your fitness regime
Yeah.
and eating the kind of foods that you want to eat and like to eat. Because you've always been in top shape,
Yeah.
like as far as I can remember. Maybe according to your standards, maybe you've deviated.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I've seen, you've always sort of been on point. How do you maintain your fitness and how do you maintain a clean diet? Because you eat clean all the time, I know.
Luckily, I always been better with weight. Like, for maybe 15 or more years or 15-20 years, I've always been the same weight. Like, 75 to 79. Never deviated much more than in this bracket. But like you said, to stay fit during travel is very challenging. But before I used to run and then train myself. When I started to travel long. The problem was to keep consistency in training. Like I said, everything was a learning. Like travel to new places. Also, you need to do a lot of research. So strength and conditioning became a big part of my life last 5 years. Much more than how it was before. I tried to carry a resistance band, all kind of 2-3 kind of resistance band.
Light to travel.
Yeah, light you can carry, and then try to work out as much as possible. Like you can do push-ups, pull-ups, which push-ups you can do anywhere, anytime, and pull-ups is you need to find the places. But most of the places will have parks or any. So 30-40 minutes you can dedicate for that. I walk a lot as a part of exploring the place, and then you can also add runs. Right, you can go for a run. 2-3 times a week in the city. And when it comes to diet, like I eat very clean. So I stay in hostel sometimes. Sometimes I stay in Airbnb where I buy the fruits and I try to add Greek yogurt. Sometimes chicken or meat or eggs you can boil, and it's easier. It's easier and if you have an access to kitchen, you can boil the egg, 4 or 5 eggs, and bananas, fruits, whatever is easily available, locally available. It won't be very expensive also, so it's easier to actually maintain fitness while traveling, unless you want to party throughout, or just rely on the KFCs or McDs. Now I find it very easy to follow a diet. I mean, I never called a strict diet. I eat clean, but it's easier to find clean food. Eat a lot of junk, and rest everything. Like, you just need to give at least 30-40 minutes in these kind of workout, which you can do squats, you can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups, lunges. You don't need a dedicated space, right? You don't need a gym or a court or anything. You can do it anywhere, wherever you're staying. And then runs you can add walks. Basic thing is to move, add some movements any day. Like, we have 24 hours, so it will be easier. You can dedicate some minutes to it. Yeah.
Super. Tell me about barefoot running.
The natural form of running. Yeah. Well, what do you want to know about barefoot running? Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know you also tried, no? Right.
I
yeah,
still do.
you, yeah,
In fact, just last weekend I ran a 10K barefoot and absolutely loved it. I just really should do it more often. In fact, tomorrow we have a long run.
Yes.
I want to
you're gonna try barefoot?
run.
Yeah?
Yeah. Let's do at least half of that 18K barefoot.
So barefoot running, it's also widely spoken now. Sometimes criticized also. Like, they say there is no enough scientific backup, or obviously on the other side you see all these shoe companies advertising on performance. Sometimes it's not the shoes or the clothes which can enhance your performance. I'm not sure if it will enhance your performance. Yeah, there are certain other factors which adds value, right? So barefoot running for me, it's been like 11 years now, and I've ran on different terrains: road, the broken tarmac, trail, grass, sand, snow. So it's been quite an experience, and upgrading myself year on year. The more you run, you get to know. And it's also not just about barefoot running. It's also like, now I'm in the 11th year. I know it's much more beyond barefoot. It's also a little spiritual. I don't know how many people can connect, because you are getting aware of your surroundings. So suppose you're running with shoes, you don't have the connection. But here you need to be aware, because you need to be aware on where you have to step, right? It can be a stone, it can be some dirt, or glass piece or anything. You are more aware. You started looking things in a different way. When you are with shoes, you don't care much because you have a protection. Here you need to be much more aware. So that awareness brings you something more. But there is a purpose, there is an intent. So how I started, like, just I wanted to run barefoot. Now it is with an intent, with an intention to do it better. It's spiritually connected, where I am getting connected with the earth, but also there is a purpose where I can also connect with the causes through which I can talk, like through running, because running, which is zero impact on carbon or anything. So you connect all these things. So barefoot running, like, it's better to start slow. You need to listen to your body always. Like, one fine morning, you cannot run 5 kilometer or 10 kilometer. You need to start very slow, because over these years, you are so used of the cushion shoes, or footwear, any kind of footwear, whatever you're wearing. So you're there are 33 muscles or joints in connected. So body needs some time, just like any part. The feet also need some time to adapt. So you need to give it enough time, then it will reward you. So you need to start slow, but you need to also be consistent. You need to maybe 1 or 2 weeks you give once a day, just to test yourself how you feel. And then you can slowly increase the mileage, or increase the days, number of days. So it's a step by step process. And then it's also a learning for your body. You are learning your body. You are understanding what is your strength. There is a rhythm. There is a rhythm for barefoot running. You get to know how it is done. And it's also like, each step you get to understand your body better. What helps you to run better? You're understanding. You get to know how to run better. To take maybe short strides, makes it much more efficient. You get to know about your breathing pattern. You can so you overall you get into a rhythm where you also understand your body to do it better. So it's a process. It's not just one fine day you run and get injured. Sometimes people do that. Seeing people running barefoot, it's easier to get inspired on social media and try it themselves. And then when you have a negative experience, you will stop it. Like, you don't continue it. So you need to give it time, enough time to learn and give the body to experience it. Once the body experiences it, you get to know your body much, and then it's much more efficient. And even if you are not running barefoot, like, you don't want to run in a race, barefoot. It's a good way to connect and also good way to understand your body. Like you can work out barefoot, or even you after your run, you can walk barefoot a kilometer as a recovery. So for me, what I've realized is my posture changed a lot, and recovery has been really good. Like after running a 42 or even after running 100 kilometers, I can still walk back home or without much. I mean, I can recover the next day. Where in shoes, I've heard from people that they've experienced much more delayed recovery. And I can flex. My flex on barefoot running is I have never lost a toenail in the 11 years. No problem with my feet. It's becoming much more beautiful. I get a lot of DMs from people asking for the picture of my feet. So yeah, it's weird, or for various other reasons. So, but overall, I've experienced it become much stronger, and overall, your body also becomes stronger, and mentally also, because it gives a mental boost too, not just because you're running these crazy distances or on crazy terrains, but it connects you on a different level. For me, it connects in a spiritual level where I can also talk about. I connect all these things like running barefoot. I can talk about any of the cause which I believe in. So yeah, these are all interrelated for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Somebody wanting to run barefoot for the first time, give them a training plan. What should the first 4 weeks look like?
The first 4 week is to understand your body. So that's why I said you need to start slow, because whenever we want to start something new, we are always excited, right? And we tend to overdo things. So it has to be very slow. Probably once a week, test how your feet is reacting. If you have blisters or if you have some other issues, so give it don't do it. Give more time. So it's ideally best to start one day, very short distance, 2-3 kilometers, because most of the people are not used to barefoot anymore now. Even inside the house, people wear footwear. So you need to give a day and see how it goes, and then gradually, the first 4 weeks is to understand and also see what are the challenges you're facing. So based on that, you can make adjustment. So first week, go slow, very short distance, very short time. Give some time for the feet. So then next week onwards, if you feel better, you can slowly increase one more day or little bit more longer distance. That's the only way. You need to try it, but yeah, you need to go barefoot while working out. Like you can squat barefoot, you can lift weight barefoot, you can walk barefoot. Walk barefoot is easier, like on much friendly surfaces like grass, sand, or even inside the house. Yeah.
I love being barefoot all the time, and wherever I wear footwear, most of the times it's Luna sandals. And what I've experienced is, strangely, my shoe size has gotten a size bigger.
Yeah.
So it has expanded, because I
Yeah.
think earlier shoes would keep it like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah. So it's wonderful, I think. With all this going on, with so much travel and living this nomad life, what does running mean to you now? And do you miss the other side? There are two separate questions.
What are the other side? What do you
The
mean
other
by
side, the other kind of life. Which
other
is
kind of
settled
life? So especially the last 5 years where I ran a lot, where I've traveled a lot, and now I am. It's very difficult for me to get back to the other side, which seems to be very normal. Like for example, I'm now living more of a very minimalistic life, and minimalistic as in I have very limited resources with me, limited things. I don't have much of a gadgets. So no, I'm not very much fascinated also with the other kind of life. Obviously, when I travel, I try to explore the nightlife for a day, but I try to stay away from alcohol and other things. So honestly, I don't miss much, because I'm in a phase where I'm enjoying this stage where I run, connect with the travel. So I connect both travel and running. So I travel and then I run also. And also, I use this as a platform to address some causes which I believe needs to be addressed. And all these runs have helped me to reach a much more audiences. So I'm literally not sure about if I miss that other life, which seems to be normal for people. But yeah, I'm in a very happy phase here. Yeah.
Wonderful, sir. What a pleasure this has been. Thank you, brother. Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Cheers.